What's happening, YouTube? It's K Mega 405 live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers out there. So I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone a couple of days ago. I really did. I'm looking at my notifications and I'm seeing that PlayStation, the Pro, is going to utilize 8 teraflops. I'm like, what? Word? Like, really? Then, of course, here comes all the ponies sprinkling the dust. It's over. X this, X that. It's done. The Scorpio is dead. It's dead on arrival. It's been dead. It's over. PlayStation 1. I'm like, damn, okay, cool. Like, damn, how did they do it? What was what was their secret? Was this the secret sauce that they were talking about? Like, wow, this was really crazy. Like, it was so crazy. Like, these ponies was out here at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at Home Depot doing this.
My chain a knee, my watch on freezer. I smell like a pound of dro. Now my eyes real low. That loud pack KO. But I can't feel my throat. Shit, the kush make me choke. Man, we left the car, bring the boat. Finna make it rain, grab a coat. Hope you strippers know how to float.
But for real, reality hit. And then the more that the people got into it, and the people that are into knowing the terminology of how all this works started coming out and talking about it. And then it became a joke. Like, what the hell is Mark Cerny talking about? Like, how is this even possible? You know, he was bringing this up basically talking about a indie game, but if you talk to other gamers that knows this terminology, it's like it was impossible. So then everybody else that didn't believe it was like,
fuck is you doing? Fuck is you proving? Fuck is you doing? Bitch ass nigga, fuck is you doing? Fuck is you proving? Fuck is you doing? Bitch ass nigga, fuck is you doing?
see. But in all seriousness, I'm confused here. Not by the fact of the buses and what's split and all of that. Big shout out to Xbox448 and the Don from the next podcast. We were talking about it and they broke it down for me. It's like I've said about the whole teraflop thing. I didn't know anything about that word. You know, I thought it was talking about pterodactyls and shit when I first heard about it. And it's the same thing with the whole resolution talk. We weren't talking like this. I know there was some that were bringing this up in small pockets back last gen, but nobody was talking about, well, man, what's them resolutions? You hear that now. And PlayStation is now in the position to where everything that they do, it has to revolve with power, because that was their Trojan horse. Now that they woke the sleeping giant in Xbox, and Xbox is like, look, we're going to always make the most powerful console ever. Now PlayStation has put themselves in a very bad position. And instead of coming out and fighting fire with fire, instead of bringing something more powerful, they give you something that's less powerful, and they don't give you the games to go with it. See, it would be great if they had some games lined up with the Pro, but they haven't even done that. And then they just want to throw more hardware at you to buy. And that to me is ridiculous. Look, PlayStation Nation, I have no hate for PlayStation. I love PlayStation. I just do not like Sony. After Jack Tretton left, it was over. Their whole strategy concept has just flipped. Yeah, they took the strategy of Matrick. And you know what? It worked for Matrick, just like it's worked for the PlayStation 4. But still, they had an asshole wail about it, and it's not likable at all. And it brought less games. That's why PlayStation had momentum, because they had better games coming out at the end of the generation of when the PlayStation 3 was out. And people were thinking that it was going to be the rebirth of the PlayStation 2. And it hasn't came nowhere close. So now you're telling me that you got all this power, right? Even though they were showing it with an indie, which was really actually crazy. And that, you know, if you don't use Netflix, you can utilize up to a gigabyte of power. Okay, great. That's cool. Then, you know, just like what Microsoft did with bringing up the Project Scorpio, they had developers out there speaking on it. Where was those developers that were speaking on it? Okay, when you had the Pro reveal, instead of talking to us or talking at us about HDR and how HDR was in the regular vanilla PlayStation 4, you should have told us about this, right? Like, you was capable of getting 8 teraflops. Then that would have shut everything down. But why are you waiting a month later to tell us all about this? I think I know the reason. It just came out that their pre-orders for the PlayStation Pro is down. So they got to get something to get the fan base up and running and get it excited. But the problem is, each month that comes closer to the Scorpio, the louder that this thing is going to get. That's just a fact. So PlayStation has to come with something. But instead of coming out with what they're supposed to, games, and it would have been smart for them to just to have one thing come out this year for people to be gravitated to, and added some games with that. If you was going to bring out the PlayStation VR, okay, cool. Bring a whole bunch of games with that. If you was going to bring out the Pro, bring some games to show that. But instead, you bring out 3 pieces of hardware in less than 3 months, and then you want people to spend $400 for this peripheral, another $400 for the Pro, and then if you want the Slim, you can go ahead and get that. But we all know the Slim is belly up. Nobody talks about the Slim, and this is what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous. They have made the dumbest moves ever. And I think in PlayStation history, next to me, going to the $600 price point. Because you got to come off of almost $900 if you want to get both things. And if somebody already got the PlayStation VR, they're not going to buy the Pro no time soon. Vice versa. Like to hear your thoughts about it. See y'all guys on BGST tonight. Peace!